Lecture 5, The Physics of Now. A God particle, Higgs boson, is not a God particle. It is man-made particle. And the Higgs field does not exist. We have to see the Higgs mechanism from the historical point of view. The idea in the beginning was that some field exists and elementary particles, some of them interact with this field and the other does not interact with this field. The particles which interact with this field, the field slows them down, as for example proton. That's why proton has inertial mass. And some other particles, as for example, photon, does not interact with this field, so they don't have inertial mass. There is a huge problem, there is a huge misunderstanding of physics that inertial mass and the rest mass are the same physical reality, are the same physical phenomena. They are not. These are two different physical phenomena. Rest mass of the proton is the mass that the proton has at rest. And this rest mass diminishes energy density of superfluid quantum space in its center exactly for the amount of its mass and correspondent energy. And this is inertial mass. So inertial mass is a pressure of the superfluid quantum space, outer pressure towards the center. And this pressure keeps proton at the place where it is, inertial mass. And the Einstein big discovery was, theoretical discovery was, that inertial mass and gravitational mass have the same value. Sure, they have the same value, because they have the same origin. Gravitational mass also is the result of the diminished energy density in the center of the physical object. We describe this with the extension of the energy equivalence, of the mass energy equivalence principle on the superfluid quantum space. So, when they sent the first article about this to be published, article was refused. But they existed, and somehow they managed to publish article about this, and then physicists start, okay, now we are searching for the experimental proofs to prove the existence of Higgs boson and Higgs field. The problem in the theory still today is, and it's not resolved and will never be resolved, that a proton is made out of quarks and gluons. Quarks represent 1% of the proton and gluons 99%. And in the theory of the Higgs mechanism, the Higgs field interact only with quarks. It does not interact with gluons. So how can gives mass to the proton Higgs field if it interacts only with the 1% of particles that built up the proton? In physical reality, the fact is that a proton has no particles to be composed out of them. Proton is a vortex of superfluid quantum space. Has no constituent parts, has no smaller parts inside. This idea of quarks and gluons, this is just a mathematical speculation. for which there is no evidence. There is no real scientific evidence for all these so-called particles which are discovered in the cyclotrons, most of them. So actually what happened in the cyclotrons? When the proton is accelerated close to the light speed, as the proton is a vortex of a superfluid quantum space, this vortex absorbs the energy because of the motion, and the energy of the relativistic proton is much, much higher than the energy of the proton at rest. And when these two protons, which are highly accelerated, crash, we have a firework. And physicists in the cyclotrons, they now study these lines, and they say this is this particle, this is this particle, this is this particle. This sparkles. But when the two protons collide, they break down, and the energy of this collision immediately is absorbed back into superfluid quantum space. So these particles does not exist in the physical reality. They are man-made. And this is really a big achievement in the cyclotrons, that they managed to break down the proton. But that's also all. Proton has no elementary particles inside, and the Higgs field does not exist. I calculated that even in the biggest black holes, the energy density of the superfluid quantum space is not so low to make a proton unstable. So protons also remain stable in the center of the black holes. That's why they found protons in these huge jets which are thrown out of the supermassive black holes. The main problem of today's physics is that the research methodology which today is used does not imply consciousness, the observer. The physicists are totally merged with their minds. Okay. So the idea of, let's see now this in this example of the Higgs field. There was the idea there is a kind of field. Okay. This was just a mental construct. And they start building this mental construct, and they arrive now where they arrive, but they are not aware that this mental construct of the Higgs mechanism is just pure belief, pure idea, actually pseudoscience. It's not supported by the experiments. Higgs field will never be discovered in the universe, because there is no Higgs field in the universe. Most of these elementary particles are man-made in the cyclotrons, and now they are somehow proofs for these theories. There is also no graviton. The idea that there is some particle that could carry gravity, this is also a pure scientific illusion. So if we want to progress physics, we have to integrate into physics experiential consciousness research. Because once you become conscious, then you are fully aware the way your mind creates physics. If you are totally identified with the mind, then your mind is a chief, is a boss, and you actually don't know what are you doing. The most of theoretical physicists today, these people, they don't know what they are doing. They are totally merged in the mental structure. They are not awake enough in the consciousness to say, okay, I am conscious of what I am thinking. If they would be conscious of what they are thinking, they would see that they are thinking nonsense. That's why it's true what Sabine Hossenfelder is discussing in her videos, that the most of theoretical physics today is lost, is totally lost. And it is. And the aim of the physics of now is that we step out of the scientific mind. That we wake up the consciousness that it's inside of us. And that we put ourselves in the position of consciousness. And we start using our mind. We are here, conscious, and we start using our mind as a tool. This is the only way to progress physics. Otherwise, physics will become mathematical philosophy. Higgs mechanism is not more than mathematical philosophy. So I warmly invite everybody, next year I will have a course on the physics of now. I guess in Slovenia. I'm not sure yet where, but probably close by my home. And I already now invite everybody warmly to come next year and to participate in this breakthrough research. Because without integrating consciousness, which is subjective, into physics, physics we lost the contact with the physical world, with what is real. So thank you very much for your attention, and see you.